What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey. This is HP with a brand new haircut. Today we are going to go check out what could potentially be car number 15. So let's get started. Bye, you guys. Scout is healing nicely from her surgery last week. She is almost back to normal. Bye, Nico.
Nico's still a jerk.
Yeah, Nico's still the same. And today we are taking HP's
Ford Ranger. Why don't you sit in the middle seat?
Absolutely not. So today we're looking at a 2011 Ford Fusion. Now, funny enough, we actually already have a 2011 Ford Fusion, and I actually really like our Ford Fusion, though HP isn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah, kind of wishy-washy. The car just needed a lot of maintenance. And how many miles is it up to now? Like 150, 160?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a solid car for what it is. It's a 4-cylinder. It's pretty low maintenance for the most part, but things like suspension components, stuff like that just gets really worn out in those cars. So that's probably the only reason why I really don't like it. But overall, I'd say the interior is like really updated. I like the body style, so this is why I'm kind of open to this one because it looks pretty clean from what I can see.
The downside, at least from what I kind of initially looked at, is that it does have light interior.
Yeah.
Which is a big downside. We have a few cars with light interiors and they all get run down way quicker than our cars with dark interiors. I don't think cloth is a big deal, but whenever it's light tan cloth interior, it's like an equation for a disaster, and that's what this car is. But it's a good price, and so the Carfax came back clean. In fact, there's no accidents reported on the Carfax. It's 3 owners, 125,000 miles, so we are interested to see what it looks like.
Reached your marked location. In 1,000 feet, your destination will be on the left.
I think it's this yellow building up here. I saw it on Google Maps. I actually thought that it was the dealership that we got the Yaris from. Like, looking at the pictures, it looks basically the exact same, and I was like, oh no, hopefully.
They all end up looking the same at some point.
Doesn't it look the same?
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay, so let's do our bet. Do you think that we'll be able to do a test drive on our own?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes too. Dealerships like this typically don't care.
No, they do not.
They're like, take the keys, get out of my hair. This dealership is poppin'.
Not the sketchiest place I've been
I mean, it's a clean, small-time dealership, I would say, like for what it is.
Definitely busy. Cleaning, ozone cars, quick moving. Just ignoring flat tires, whatever.
If you don't address it, it doesn't exist.
That's true.
All right, so we're in the Fusion. HP, what are your initial thoughts?
Surprisingly clean. These dealers definitely will take these cars that are like repossession cars, and this is exactly where he said he got it from, was a bank, which is good. I like those because it just typically means that it's not like it's a total car, a salvage car that someone just didn't want to sell. This is a car that definitely did want to be sold. So I'm pretty fond of it. There's a couple of things right off the bat. There's an airbag light on, but if you remember correctly, in our car, we also had an airbag light on ours as well. So I think it's definitely going to take a little bit of TLC. Small things like the headliner in the back's a little chewed up, and
oh, I didn't even notice that.
I know, it's weird the things you look
Yeah,
at.
there are definitely, like, looking at these switches, it's kind of chewed up. This right here is all like flimsy. We had the same issue in our Fusion. I must say that as I'm starting kind of like nitpicking this stuff apart, it's not quite as nice as it is on the exterior, because the exterior is super clean.
Plus they're washing it as we got up, so.
Yeah, they were, and so hopefully we can get it to dry off a bit as we drive it, and we can do an exterior kind of inspection.
Yeah. Just pulling in this car wash so I can plug in my scanner. So, what time is it?
It is
9 o'clock.
not 9 o'clock. I'm trying to figure out, my phone is like blowing up. It's 5:21.
So it definitely had a new battery, and it looks like they just put a battery in it. So I believe that might be the reason why this isn't working.
The airbag light?
No. I think that's why the time is off. Not that they're trying to hide something. So I want to look in the back. I'll show you something I just saw.
I felt the floor to see if it was wet.
Yeah, but this carpet seems way too crusty.
So are you saying that you think that this is a flood vehicle?
I mean, it's a pretty good possibility. I think overall the car was just very dirty, but look up here. Look at this headliner. Like, what the hell is going on up here? And like, also, was this a smoker's car?
Well, I got the Carfax. Do you want to see who it was sold by to them?
Yeah, if you can.
So the original owner bought it, I mean the third owner bought it in 2017, and they owned it until now. And then it was sold at auction on 6/21. And it looks as though it was located in Arkansas.
In Arkansas?
Yeah, so it's not like it was like in Houston or something where flooding has happened somewhat recently.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't really think there's a lot of shady stuff going on here. I just think it's just a really worn vehicle. At this point, I'm kind of torn because the airbag light is something to really take into consideration. And I did find a little bit of water in the back trunk area that it could be leaking from somewhere, but I mean, it's just kind of it's a dirty, clean vehicle. I'm not sure if I like it. It's got a my key limit too. That means this car is under, someone set up the my key, which means that you can't raise the volume more than half.
Why? What does that mean?
Because my key is Ford's like Nerf. If you were gonna let your child drive this vehicle, you don't
How
want
do you turn that off?
You have to do it with the admin key.
Which we don't have.
No, so you'd have to buy another key, a smart key. You'd have to make that the admin key and then disable it.
Okay, so now the car has dried. It was washed right as we were coming to get the car, which in my opinion was kind of sketchy timing.
Yeah.
They knew we were coming. So here's a walk around. It looks pretty clean.
One part of me says, yeah, buy it, but it's $5,000.
I'd say if you're torn, let's skip it.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, ultimately, you're the person who typically chooses. And so for me, I feel like if you're not like 100% enthusiastic, it's a red flag in itself.
I'm enthusiastic, but you know what I like to see whenever I buy a $5,000 car? Nothing to be done, or very little.
Like the Honda Fit we just bought.
Exactly. And this car just doesn't scream $5,000.
It screams like
It screams 4, 3, 3,500. And I only say that because the airbag light's a big issue, because that could be diagnostic if we have to buy a sensor. And remember what happened in our car? We thought it was an airbag in our Fusion. It turns out that the car had been wrecked on the left side and everything was repaired correctly. They put new doors on it and everything, but it was missing a sensor. Why was it missing a sensor? Because it was missing a complete door harness. It got to the point where that cost us a lot of time and a lot of money.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
I like scrubbed that from my memory. I completely forgot that that happened, and you're right. It was a huge nightmare.
And she was the one fixing it. She had the door torn apart
Because
like...
HP had his full-time job at that point. You're
Yeah.
right. I would say with the airbag, I would say no. The airbag is...
And in the best case scenario, it's a sensor underneath the seat that could cost us maybe $80, and that's just, that's a risk. And then it needs 2 tires. I can tell by the alignment that it needs a really good balance in the front wheels, which means it could have bent wheels. I think it's just a lot of stuff for a $5,000 car. I think we have to pass on it. I hate to say this is the cleanest car that we've passed on to.
So we're back home. For some reason, coming home took like twice as long as getting there. And so we finally made it home and we have officially passed on this Ford Fusion.
I'm not that upset about it. I think that was the right thing to do. Looking at that vehicle, like I think we said before, I'd much rather not spend $5,000 on a vehicle that I know I'm already going to have to invest that much money in. And overall, like I said, I'm a Ford guy, but I mean, there's enough problems in that vehicle that I saw right off the bat that I'm like, you know what, this just seems like more problem than it's worth.
The other thing is that, and this is something that HP and I talked about on our way home, is the question of how do we navigate this car market with inflated car prices? And this is a question that I get asked on my main channel quite a lot, like on a near daily basis at this point. And I think the answer to that question is like exactly what we've shown in this video, is that I think that it's okay to pay a higher price for cars. I've said it a lot of times before. A couple of years ago, we were paying $3,500 on cars very regularly. I would say that was like $3,500, $4,000 max. Very rarely did we ever spend $5,000. And over the years, we've had to increase the amount that we were spending, mainly because of this inflated car market. But if you're spending more money, and at the end of the day, $3,500 to $5,000 is a substantial increase, 25-30% increase. You want to get value for that. And I think that in the case of the Ford Fusion, if it was priced at $3,500, $4,000, I think we would have done that deal all day long.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that we like to shop for is, okay, we're getting what we paid for, but I don't feel like we're getting what we're paid for.
Exactly. You're paying a premium price and you're not getting a premium product. And the fact that the airbag light was a big deal, as we were leaving, HP had asked the guy about the airbag light.
Yeah, and the guy's explanation was that he took out the seats to clean the carpet, or whoever was doing it, and he turned the car on, and that's what tripped the sensor, which Aubrey asked me, is it possible? I said, yeah, that's definitely possible, but the carpets didn't look very clean at all. They actually look kind of gross, and same thing with the seats. They just kind of look a little too stiff, and it just didn't make sense for what the guy was saying. If that was his version of clean, then that's definitely not a vehicle that I want to be sitting in. I guess at the end of the day, it's just kind of one of those things where, cut your losses. I mean, what was a trip spending, $10 in gas to not make a $5,000 mistake?
Yeah. Yeah, it is so painful to not buy a car because it really is a time suck. It's like we left the house at what time? 4 o'clock, and it's 8 o'clock now, and so it's a 4-hour time suck to go look at these cars. We get our hopes up that we're gonna end up buying the car, we record it in hopes of getting some good content for you guys, but at the end of the day, not every car is a winner, and you have to be able to say, okay, this is not worth the price, this is not a good investment, and that's exactly what this was today.
And I think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people go out, wish, that's the car they want, and they end up settling just because it fits majority of the stuff. But I think some of that stuff matters. I think people could save themselves a lot of money if they just learn to walk away when they need to.
Well, I think the problem is that so often and I think that we were catching ourselves doing it with the Ford Fusion, is that you get into the Ford Fusion and then you notice, okay, the undercarriage, guard thing is missing. Oh, some wheel well liners are missing. Then you go inside the car and the handle, the door grab handle is missing. The door handle on the inside is loose. The headliner's torn and stained. Yeah, and then at some point in time, it's like you keep finding these things that are wrong and you keep justifying it because each one is minor. But if you take enough minor issues and that you compound them together, it's no longer a minor problem and it's a significant one. And in this case of the Ford Fusion, we were paying the same price as we paid on the Honda Fit from last week, and yet the Honda Fit just needs a glass and that's it. And the Ford Fusion would need probably not substantially more of a money investment. I don't think it would be hundreds of dollars, but our time is valuable and it probably would have cost HP a couple of days worth of work to get everything fixed. That's if everything was fixed easily, which is a big if.
As always, guys, leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit the like button, that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell to see more content, and we'll see you next time.